succeed. They will succeed. I use the words I expect. If you ask me, how do I do it? I say, I expect this of you because I know you can. So I give them the law of expectations. There is something else, is remember, what is the reason they get up to work? Is it for a paycheck? No. Yeah, that's how they feed their family. That's how they, maybe pick you or whatever, I don't know. But they stay with you because of fundamental passion for what you do. You need to be able to have that passion delivered forward. And what is that? It's the idea that every day that you come to work, do I look at cosmetic surgery as a triviality? If I look at it as a triviality, they will look at it as a triviality. I look at it as the core value of why I live, breathe, eat, and sleep. And if that's silly to you, if you laugh at that, then you're in the wrong business, you're in the wrong place. But they know that how much passion I deliver for plastic surgery. It's an absolute core value for me. And every day they feel like instead of cutting stones, they're taking those stones and building a cathedral. Why does FedEx succeed? Why are they on time? The reason they're on time is the simple fact that they've been instilled by their leader that inside that package could be a business deal that's worth $5 million that must be closed tomorrow. There's a heart in there that must be transplanted so someone doesn't die. They're instilled with the core value that what they're doing is important. That's very, very important. It's not just about your importance as everyone else. And I already talked about Ed. I really, really don't like to be arrogant and say everything comes from me. It's about humbling myself to look for people that came before me, that have really inspired me. It's about respecting staff time. If a staff, we wrote it, I learned from Ed, we wrote it in a chapter of a book that we wrote. If staff has to be late every morning, well, is it fundamentally a problem? What is it? Maybe they've got kids they got to pick up. If they're worth it, restructure the schedule for them. And keep regular business hours so you can keep your staff. It's so critical. Don't be working till 9 or 10 p.m. Don't lose sight of their personal life. And don't ask them to do something that you wouldn't do yourself. Setting the table. I was in New York for many years and I love food. Probably you can see that. But the idea is, Danny Meyer said you can teach someone, he's a great restaurateur and a business entrepreneur, you can teach someone how to set a table, you can't teach them how to care about setting that table. So remember, get the right people on the bus. He hires on 51% emotion and 49% on talent. That core ethos, that feeling that Susan was talking about must be there. Cultures of excellence. I'm part of an organization called EO. I'll talk to you more about it in a moment. But Stephen Piles is a great restaurateur in Dallas, and he gave a lecture to us, and he said, everything's been done. There's been chicken, pork, steak, everything out there. So what the heck why do I get up in the morning? To make some chicken? The reason he gets up is that there's something out there, there's something special. He goes around the world to find that special thing, to make what he does different. And that's why I go to 14 to 16 meetings a year, so I can stay ahead of the game. Look for that pearl. A great mind says, I got one pearl out of this meeting. A poor mind says, I wasted 4 days of my life. You never waste that. Depends on your attitude. Teachability. If you're green, you're growing. If you're ripe, you're rotting. We should always be in a growth phase. I don't care if we're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, we're always in a growth phase. And so don't think you know everything. If you think I'm coming from a point of arrogance up here, I'm not. I have a lot to learn, and you'll hear that at the end. We always need to learn. Our staff needs to learn from ourselves. We need to learn from them. Everything needs to be in a point of position where we can learn. The reason I'm here is not just to teach, it's to be educated. It's to learn and be out there and figure out how can I be better tomorrow. I love Craig Reed. He's no longer with Dallas, and he was also a lecturer at EO. The Entrepreneur Organization is something I'm extremely proud of. It's an organization I'm affiliated with where we basically get together once a month and listen to a great speaker, and then we get together once a month on a separate occasion where we go through business ideas, and it's 100% confidentiality behind closed doors. I got Ed part of that now. And it is something that I'm very, very proud of. Craig Reed talked about 80% going to the patient or going to the client. 20% must be fed back to the staff. We're so focused on customer service, we forget the staff. It is better to be loved than be feared, unlike Machiavelli's quote. And what Craig Reed did is he shaked 100 hands before he sat down at his desk every day. Now, I don't have time to do that, but some of you know I have a 27,000 square foot building where I've got multiple components of that business, some of which I own, some of which I lease. If I have 5 minutes, a patient doesn't show up, you know what I do? I go shake hands. I go and instill the culture in the entire building because my culture is set. The culture in the building is in flux. I've hired the right people to hire the right people, but I've also got to go back and reinforce that culture. So I'm out there pressing flesh every single day to my building. Look for ways to take care of your staff. I don't want to tell you all the things I've done for my staff since it's being recorded, but I've done a lot of little things that are well beyond bonuses and well beyond just taking care of them financially. It's about a lot of things. And this is really, really core. The idea also is, like what Craig Reed said, he was outside one day and the doorman, who's been with him for about 27 years, was freezing. He forgot his jacket. He said, "This is perfect. I'm going to go buy out of my own money a down coat for him from the. And guess what happens when that gentleman wears that coat every single day? How much passion does he have for his leader? How much passion does he have for his job? Look for ways to take care of your staff. Don't let them hurt. That's really, really critical. The other thing is we get so focused on people's weaknesses that we don't see their strengths. Focus on their strengths. We all have weaknesses. We can and push them into the right positions. You heard that earlier. That's so very, very important. This is a great book. It's Your Ship. There's a subsequent book. It's Our Ship. I haven't read that one. Mike Abrashoff, great speaker as well. The leader sets the mood. I sometimes have a problem with this. I try to remember this. I get to work and I'm sort of in a grumpy mood. That feeling that Susan was talking about, everything goes down with me. So I've got to get myself out of there so that I don't hurt the whole ship. Know every name. Do you know every staff member's name? Do you know every staff member's spouse's name? Do you know every staff member's children's name? Do you know every staff member's dog's names and cat's name? You laugh? I do. And here's what I do, is my staff, they're not only required to know my name and my family's name, they need to know everyone's. And my retreat exercise for this year, I'm talking about retreats in a moment, is to bring all their photos of all their families so we know everyone. We need to get to each other's core, which lies beyond the focus of just business. Inspire ownership through pride in their work. If I show no pride in what I do, if I'm sloppy in my closures and I'm looking for the easy exit, it all trickles down. You know what rolls downhill? Care and connect. A lot of times the XY chromosome is plagued with inability to care and connect. If you are one, try to get out of that mode. I'm trying every day. Establish an emotional connection. It is important that if you don't respect your staff, they won't respect you. If you care about them, you care about their personal life. We talked about some ideas earlier. There's the core. Mirroring, synchrony, congruity. NLP. If you haven't read some neurolinguistic programming, you should. I have gotten to be much more kinesthetic, which is really by feel. I can feel something's wrong. I'm much more intuitive than I am intellectual at some core. And really respond to that person based on their outlook on the world. You can hear the way that they talk and the way that they present themselves. I'm not going to get too much in that. I just challenge you to do some research on that yourself. There's not enough time. I thought I had 40 minutes, so I'm staying on time. Have fun and win. Make sure your staff is doing what they love. Make the environment fun. It's so important. I joke all the time. I just have a great time. And share that winning spirit. Every great before and after, every testimonial, every mission, everything we have out there, they get to watch. And this book, Made to Stick, is great because stories stick. To be honest with you, you're going to remember 2% of what I said today, if I'm lucky. But stories, things I may have told you about people's lives. You may have remembered the coat that Craig Reed did, what I talked about earlier. Stories stick. So I bring my staff into alignment with me by telling them stories of transformation. Not just their transformation, transformation for my patients. What have we done and impacted on that life? That's so important. Telling stories. We're storytellers. You know, you heard this book, The Secret. Look forward. If we walk to work every day with negativity, we're going to capture that negativity. We're going to attract it to ourselves. Look forward toward positivity. And that's so important. Visualize it. And you know what the other thing is? Be grateful. I mean, we have a lot. Even if someone's sick in the family, we have a lot. My father went through a hell of a lot in his lifetime. But we have a lot. And he always looked bright. He always looked forward. And that's so important, how our attitude. Ken Blanchard's amazing. This book is fantastic, Leading at a Higher Level. If you work for an eagle, you'll soar. If you work for a duck, guess what's going to happen? You're going to quack. So the Nordies, okay? You're the eagle or the duck. Ask yourself which one you are. Praise progress. There's something called the cult of knowledge. If you're way in advance, you've been in this practice so long you can't even remember how to start, let that person fail. It's okay. They may not understand. If you don't give them that embrace, they won't progress and they won't succeed. If you plan the battle, you won't battle the plan. Let them plan the battle. Principle 5, the Toyota Way, which is the idea that every level from top to bottom must be able to put the stuff